Hey, what's going on, everybody? Leo here from Daddy's Game Time, your friendly show about gaming, movies, and pop culture. As always, I'm next to.
I invite you today. Welcome to the show.
I'm next to one of the biggest daddies of them all in the industry, Rick.
What's up? No Francisco today again.
All right, and today we have a very special show. For those of you that don't know, Nintendo is having their Nintendo Switch reveal stream, and that is going to be this Thursday, January 12th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time, as I have in my trusty little notebook here. So that's going to be a big thing coming up for us, and it's very exciting times for Nintendo. We have a lot of things that we're going to bring to you today, so let me just kind of give you an overview of what we're going to go over, and then we're going to get right to it like there's nothing to it. Is that right, Rick?
There's nothing to it.
All right.
Nothing bad.
So, yes, CES, the Consumer Electronics Show 2017 happened this week, and we will give you a little bit of bonus stuff at the very end of our thoughts.
Not this week, last week.
Yeah.
The 5th.
Yeah.
I think
it happened for a whole week, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will give our thoughts on that, but the big thing on this show is going to be for the Nintendo Switch. A lot of good stuff coming out. We're going to talk
potentially good stuff.
We're going to give you our thoughts, our predictions on what we think is going to happen with the Nintendo Switch, things such as price, game system specs, bundles, digital store, the rumor roundup. We're going to give you all the ins and outs of some of the Nintendo Switch sweetness that's coming up here. And Rick, tell me your thoughts about the Nintendo Switch. Just give us an overview of what you think about it.
Well, from what I've been telling you, or to you guys, you and Francisco, what we've been talking about, and for any viewers that have been tuned in and seeing our previous episodes, I've always been not too optimistic about this particular step Nintendo has been taking with Nintendo Switch.
That's right.
Not that I'm saying that they're not a good company. Nintendo's been awesome. It's been around. It's what we were grown up with as the platform of choice, I guess you can say. So I love Nintendo. Nintendo is awesome. Some of their games are, superb. But I don't know. Like I'm still not sold on what this next console, be it handheld, portable, or a full-on, however you want to categorize it, I'm just not sold on it just yet.
Right.
So I'm hoping that with this review on Thursday, they come up with something that just blows my mind away. Enough where it makes me feel like, wow, this is something I really got to start looking into, or really got to start paying more attention to.
Yes.
As it is right now, I still stand by my opinion. It's a glorified Nintendo DS, Wii U gamepad. It's just better version of it. That's all I see it as. Hopefully Thursday they change my mind. So
yes,
I'm waiting for you, Nintendo.
Yeah, and as you can see in the trailer playing behind us here, there are a lot of already unofficial announcements, I guess you could say. They have Mario Kart of some sort coming to the Switch. They had a Skyrim playing on the Switch. They had an NBA game playing on the Switch. I believe it was from 2K. And so that's possibly the most that is the most popular NBA series out right now. There it is on the screen. And obviously a lot of this isn't confirmed officially by the manufacturers of these games, the developers of these games, but we are expecting to see some of that in the coming days, on this Thursday to be specifically. There's a brand new Mario game that they semi-introduced here with their trailer. We're hoping to hear more about it. I'm excited probably the most about this than anything else. Obviously, there's Breath of the Wild. That was also a big part of the Switch reveal trailer. And, Breath of the Wild is one of those games that has seemingly been in development already for a long time. Right. It was seemingly going to be out in a good time frame, but it ended up getting delayed, and now the rumors say that we're expecting to see it released around around launch time, if not on launch day. So that should be a big system seller for the Nintendo Switch.
That would definitely be a system seller. If not for that, I mean, I don't know. We'll see Thursday. I don't know.
Do we have anybody joining us here live? We're streaming live. For those of you watching us on YouTube, post-recording here, thank you very much for joining us as well. Remember, you can feel free to check us out also on Facebook. We do broadcast live every Monday in the PM. We don't have a set time yet, but usually it's around 7 p.m. at night, Pacific time. So stay tuned for that also. Anytime you want to interact with us, we are... we do it as a show presentation, but it is full-on interaction with our fans watching at home, and we also give out a shout-out. So let's see, do we have any shout-outs to give out right now?
Well, Francisco is actually watching us, so he's not here with us physically, but he's here with us in spirit.
Yeah.
You hear me okay?
There you
my
go.
bad.
Right there.
So, what's up, buddy? We also got Raymond. We got my nephew, Junior. He's on there. Looks like we got... what's up, Daddy's Game Time?
AJ Bishop.
AJ Bishop just throwing us a shout out back at you. So keep on coming, guys. If you wanna talk to us, we're here live. We'll definitely go over any information you guys want to talk about or are curious about. So if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot us or even if just a shout out.
That's right. And also, just a quick reminder, we're over on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and also on Twitch. All that keyword Daddy's Game Time. Okay, so we're here. We're looking at Zelda Breath of the Wild. Do you think it's going to be a launch game, or do you think it's going to be launch window? So it's system's released, but it'll be released within a few weeks of it or months.
I don't know. As it is, like I don't know. I'm again on my opinion of what Nintendo is. If this doesn't come out on launch with the console, I don't think they're going to make that many predicted sales. If this comes out after, they'll still sell some consoles, but not as much as they will with the launch. If this gets delayed even further, then they're gonna do bad. It's not gonna be good for Nintendo if that happens.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is the big home run right here. Obviously, as of right now, we're still even though rumors say it's probably gonna be a Switch exclusive, no longer a Wii U exclusive. But Nintendo has yet to verify anything. So as far as we know, from the information we've been given by Nintendo, this is still coming out on Wii U as well as the Switch. So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up working out. I'm really hoping it comes out for the Wii U because I do know that there are a lot of people that bought a Wii U expecting this game to be released on that console.
Same thing happened with what was it, Twilight Princess, right?
Yes,
with
Twilight Princess. There's a precedent there. There was a dual release, and as it turns out, it was limited release on the GameCube, which made that game a collector's item actually because there were so few games printed for it. So. That's something to think about for when this game comes out, if it comes out for Wii U.
I guess it's a little bonus if that happens. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, if this were to come out on launch, I think I probably would really look into getting a Switch.
Really?
Launch, yes. If not, no. Right now, so far, I don't see anything worthwhile, Breath of the Wild, that will... I gotta get a Switch. I have to be the first ones to have it.
A lot of people are gonna really hate on me for this, possibly even see me as a little bit of a scumbag for it. But I am planning on pre-ordering a Switch and checking it out.
And we need that meme, that scumbag.
The scumbag.
Someone throw the hat on Leo. Someone throw him on.
So I mean, I checking it out, and if it doesn't work out, I'll just go ahead and sell it on the eBay or whatever means it might be. I'm sure it's going to be sold out everywhere. Nintendo always does this for some reason.
We're talking about selling. You're going to keep it.
So we'll see. So let's get right to it, to the predictions. Let's get right to the predictions here. First category, release date. And we know it's in March. What do you think the release date will be?
They usually tend to release any kind of products based off of quarters, right? So
right.
First quarter would be what? January, February, March? generally.
Yes.
So if they go for
so any of these release dates in March, they're still part of the first quarter.
Right.
Just so you know.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it would really benefit them if they do it towards the beginning of March or towards the end of the March, because they're still going to always see that as first quarter revenue sales. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the way that they're looking at it, money wise, what they're going to make off of it, I don't think it really makes a difference to them.
Yes.
It now just comes to the gamer that's expecting or wanting, can't wait to have the console. Can they wait those extra months? Can they be patient? Or are they just going to be, Nintendo is pulling our leg and making us wait longer?
Yeah.
So it's going to be more towards kind of to please them.
Mm-hmm.
In that case, it would be better if they release it as soon as possible. And, towards the beginning of March. That would be awesome. That would be ideal. But like I said, again, I don't know. I don't see it as there's any benefit whether it comes beginning or end. So...
Right.
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be like somewhere right in the middle, just to kind of meet in the middle.
Okay. So you're probably going for what,
Mid-March,
like second weekend of March,
17th, 18ish, somewhere around that area.
Okay. I think that Nintendo's will want to show their investors a really good quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So I think their best bet is going to be to release early in March.
Mm-hmm.
So that they can have the whole month to just kind of fatten up their lineup and to make as many sales as possible and to show off how strongly their earnings ended at the end of the quarter, and hopefully put them into their profit margins into a bigger margin. So I think they'll be releasing early, possibly I would say the first Friday of March, which what date would that be?
I don't know. I honestly don't have my calendar on me. See if I can bring it up real quick. The first Friday would be the 3rd.
Friday the 3rd. That's what I would put. So you would put it on what date? If you look at
about the 17th, so maybe
the 17th,
about 2 weeks after that.
Okay,
but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's really, we're not talking months from now. We are at months. Sorry, it's like a month and a half to 2 months away.
Right.
But we're not talking about like 6 months from now. We're not talking about a year from now. We're talking about it's really down to those final details. The console's done. Obviously, they're not producing them. They're not still building something. It's done. Now it's just a shipping thing. How many consoles they can get out to what stores and what departments.
Well, I think they're actually going to have them like nonstop for the next, I don't know, year or so in the production lines. But I think what you're trying to say is as far as designing the console, adding or taking away from it.
Right.
I think it's probably, as you would put it in software terms, it's probably gone gold, where they have the final build, and right now it's just off to the races and the production lines at the production companies that they're building these at. And I think that's what Nintendo is going to have to deal with in the next few days.
Has anyone anywhere ever mentioned about how many predicted units they'll be shipping out?
There's all rumors.
Units?
Nintendo's always super secretive about their numbers, but
Double O Nintendo.
But I think the goal is going to be 1 million units by the end of the first month after it's been released.
Worldwide?
And I think those are worldwide numbers that are put out there. So we'll have to just wait and see what it actually is that Nintendo does, because as you know, sometimes they do have enough units to sell, but they create that artificial demand so that they could receive all that free press, because I think that's part of their strategy. They're kind of penny pinchers in a way. In terms of their marketing department,
so ship like 5 units to every store, and
I think that it's kind of like what they did with the NES Classic, where they have plenty of units. It can't be that hard to manufacture,
right?
But however, they wanted to kind of start creating a buzz for their name, Nintendo, and kind of be on the lips of potential buyers, and eventually go with the route of, hey, now we have this new console out. It's hot. Everybody wants it. And so let's get people talking about it. That way we don't have to actually spend all the big dollars on the marketing for it, because Nintendo is very savvy in this way. They've done it before, to great success with the Wii, to great failure with the Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
And they need, more than anything, and most important, I think Nintendo needs to be able to educate their potential buyers as to what this console is all about. One of the big mistakes with the Wii U is a lot of people didn't even see the console in the original trailer for the Wii U. A lot of people thought the Wii U was an add-on. They thought the Wii U was the actual tablet controller, and that it was an add-on for the Wii. Obviously, that wasn't true, but if you look at the original teaser trailer for the Wii U, that's kind of like what it seemed like, because there was a very brief shot of somebody playing a game, and you could see the television set in the foreground, and up to one little corner, minuscule corner there, you could see the actual console sitting next to the television set, but it wasn't a big emphasis. Whereas most other game consoles that are about to be released, the console itself, the system itself, is what is kind of at the center of.
They do like all the glamour shots of the actual console.
Exactly, and Nintendo failed to do that with the Wii U.
I mean,
when it was originally
I could see
introduced.
that too, because I mean, essentially, the Wii U console itself looks almost exactly like the Wii console, except for the color difference in colors. But
yes,
the way that it's actually shaped and size, I mean, it essentially looks like the same thing. So if they're only showing the gamepad, then everybody's going to think like, oh, this just connects to
yes.
So I can definitely see how they did that. But I don't know. Nintendo, I still, I don't know.
Yeah, they just need to do well with their marketing on this. And part of the problem that I see already is that this is going to be a stream as opposed to doing it at a big, ginormous event like, like E3, for example. And the problem with that is that only the people that are already interested in buying a Nintendo product are the ones that are going to be watching it. The buyers that they're kind of going after, that they have been going after for the last decade or more, are the casual players, the casual people, the people that aren't even gamers to begin with. Those are the main target audience that Nintendo is going after, and I think that could prove to be a mistake. But then again, Nintendo has also proven that they're very savvy, and probably by creating an artificial shortage of some sort, they can get people talking about it, and they can get people just through word of mouth, bringing Nintendo back into the fold as a household name, as we've seen them done so many times before.
So it's kind of like they're trying to create that need, because supply and demand, they'd be able to supply more than enough. They're just limiting themselves so that that word, that buzz, that need for people, oh, I need this console, but it's no longer available.
Yes, that's right.
Kind of get that going for them is what you're basically saying.
Right. So coming up, price, prediction on price. What do you think?
We've heard rumors going down as far as, I think, 200.
Right.
All the way up to about $299.
Yes.
So generally within that range. I'm going to say probably like right in the middle, like $250.
$250. Okay. Now, most people are saying $250. And actually, I think they will go $250. But I think that probably will prove to still be too high. Yeah. $250, unless they include a game with it. And which leads me to the next question. Will there be bundles with it? So okay, your prediction. It's going to release base unit at $250 US, or, $299.99, dollars US. I think it will be $299.99 US dollars, but it will include a game. The question is, will there be bundles? Will there be like a type of Wii Sports included with this
That's
console?
The kind of game that I'm gonna think that they would release it with, a Wii Sports version for Switch.
Right.
I definitely don't see them giving Breath of the Wild bundle, not right off the top. I mean, right off the launch date. Maybe later on down the line they'll include some kind of collector's edition or something, but not right off of the bat. So the only thing I'm predicting that they're going to be releasing is the console, the handheld thing, all its cables and whatnot, the dock. I mean, the slide-on clip controller that goes with it. And if anything, some kind of either DLC, not an actual disc, but just some kind of downloadable content, some kind of Wii Sports-ish kind of game.
Right.
Something real simple, real easy to kind of get your feet wet, kind of.
Yes.
As to how the game works. But other than that, I really doubt that they're going to offer not even like an old classic game like Metroid or anything like that. That's I don't know. I think that's asking too much for them to give us something like that.
And do you think they'll release specs here at this event, at this streaming event that they're having, the announcement event?
I would think yes, because we're this close already to the release.
Yes.
So I think it's safe enough to say, okay, this is what the console is going to be like. Maybe not everything about the console, but give us a little bit more details about how it's going to run and what kind of specs and what kind of conditions and resolutions and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that we're not speculating about everything. Now we're going to be kind of more, okay, it's going to handle this or it's going to work like that.
Yeah. I think it would be foolish for Nintendo to release specifics about what their console can and cannot do. I think they're just going to rely upon the gameplay videos of what they're going to have releasing for their console. It's obviously hasn't tried to compete power wise with Sony and with Microsoft. Nintendo's kind of going off in a different direction. They have been since the Nintendo Wii and the Wii U. They haven't been the most powerful console since the GameCube. The GameCube was technically more powerful than the Xbox and the original Xbox and also the PlayStation 2. However, it still failed. It failed for a number of reasons, but technically it was a more powerful, a more advanced console. And this one, already the rumors are telling us that it's running on a Tegra 1 chip, which is old technology. It's technology that's a year plus old, and so it's very obvious that's not what they're going for. They're not going for realistic graphics. They're going more
they've never been cutting edge, like, to be the leaders in that field. They've always just been wanting to make their games pleasant, enjoyable, and they've always generally been one generation behind,
in the last decade. But you got to remember, in the early days, Nintendo was ahead of its time with its graphics, the NES. Then obviously Sega Master System, the Genesis came out, and so Nintendo kind of one-upped them with the Super Nintendo. Super Nintendo was technically more powerful than the Sega Genesis. And then the same thing again with the Nintendo 64. Technologically, it could push more polygons than the PlayStation. However, the Achilles heel of the Nintendo 64 ended up being the low space that the cartridge medium had. They went with the cartridge format as opposed to a CD format, and that ended up kind of balancing things out in Sony's favor, where Sony's games were just huge. They were enormous, and whereas Nintendo's games were kind of small in scale. No full motion videos on almost any of their games, and visually they could push way more polygons. They were working pretty good. Or they were working great, most of the games were running at 60 frames per second, whereas the Sony PlayStation was running usually at 30 frames per second. However, most people didn't care because there were pros and cons to each console, and to each their own, right? So those three consoles were more powerful, and the GameCube was more powerful. It was only with the Wii and with the Wii U where Nintendo went with this blue ocean strategy, where they're trying to go after the casual fan and not just the hardcore fan. It worked out marvelously with the Wii, and they're just kind of trying to go for that kind of
That concept
success again. And they tried it with the Wii U. Their marketing was terrible on it, and hopefully they've learned from their mistakes, and we'll see where Nintendo Switch takes us to. Nintendo's always exciting, but they're always a mystery. Up next, games. What games do you think they're going to confirm or announce during this reveal?
Well, the only thing that we've seen plenty of is Breath of the Wild. That's the only thing that we know for sure is coming out. Launch or not, we don't know. But we know for sure that's what's working out.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't know. I mean, they haven't really given us too much of anything to speculate what kind of games. I would assume that they're going to rely on what already has worked in the past. Obviously, Mario Kart. Obviously, Mario games, 3D games. Zelda games. I would imagine Samus or Metroid. Something in that genre. Other than that, I don't know. I really can't say or have any idea of what kind of games to expect for this.
Well, I think we already know a new Mario game.
Right.
The new Breath of the Wild game is going to come out. A new Mario Kart game. A new Splatoon game is coming out.
Okay.
I'm not necessarily saying they're going to be brand new games, but almost like a
port over of it, or
I think like in Splatoon and Mario Kart, they're probably going to be I don't know, like Mario Kart Switch version or new Mario Kart 8, but it's not going to be like Mario Kart 9. I don't think it's going to be a Splatoon 2. It's going to be like Splatoon Switch, or something Switch related, almost like a remastered or Switch or like a Switch version of it.
Right.
I think that they're also going to confirm what you just saw here on the screen, and that's
Elder Scrolls,
a new Elder Scrolls game. I think they're going to confirm it. Yes, it is an older game, but a lot of people will be licking their chops to play it on the go. Yeah.
But it would be a remake, though, right? I mean,
no, this is from what we've heard so far, it's the exact same game, just ported.
Yeah,
ported to Switch.
The Switch version of it.
Right.
And Mario Kart.
Obviously, we're gonna have the Maddens, we're gonna have the FIFAs.
That's what I mean. They're gonna rely on those previous games that have already brought in so much revenue to them. They're going to continue with all the sports games, the Mario parties. Probably we're still going to see more of those.
I think we're going to see, obviously, for what we saw already, the 2K basketball, the NBA. We're going to see that. It's going to be confirmed. We already saw a lot of this, but they're probably just going to confirm a lot of these games. The new Super Mario game. It looks like it's going to be like a Super Mario 64 type of game.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes. I don't think it's going to be like a 3D world game.
I like that concept better than the Galaxy, the upside down.
Oh yeah, so, but I love Galaxy, but I think we've been long overdue for a Super Mario 64 sequel, and I think Nintendo's probably going to deliver that for us coming up here pretty soon. I think they'll confirm that at the event. They better have some surprises as well. I think they're gonna surprise us, but their surprises are probably not gonna be anything too out of this world.
Right.
I think they're gonna be more like you're gonna see Call of Duty on Nintendo Switch. You're gonna see Battlefield on Nintendo Switch. You're gonna see Star Wars Battlefront on Nintendo Switch. I think it's gonna be things like that.
So they're just essentially getting what's already out there and bringing it to the Nintendo audience.
Yeah, I think you're gonna get those versions of the games with dumbed down graphics, because the Switch obviously it's inferior when it comes to its power. However, you got to understand it is also a modular device. You don't just play it docked like a typical console. So a lot of people will be looking forward to being able to play at home, but also especially play it on the go. And I think that this console has the potential to barely run those games on the go, although at like maybe lowest settings and low frame rate, well, not necessarily too low, but lower frame rates and also lower resolutions. But as long as they're playable, I think most people will forgive that. They won't care because technically it will be the most advanced mobile console.
I hope, above all, I hope they go over at least battery-wise.
Yeah, you know what? As far as predictions go, I don't think they will reveal the battery lifespan of it. I hope they do. I hope against hope, but I don't think they're gonna reveal it. I think they're just kind of like gonna try to bury that.
If they do, it would be because it's a good battery. If they don't, I think it would be because they know that it's only going to last X amount of time.
Right. Plus, whatever they do say, you have to understand most of the companies will say this can last you up to 8 hours. Up to 8 hours. Like running on minimum
standby mode for 8 hours.
Yeah.
Well, true. But I mean, if they give some kind of insight to like, no, you can play good games for X amount of time.
Right.
If they can give us something like that, then that looks promising.
I think realistically, they're gonna, if they do release a time frame or a time battery life time frame, it's probably gonna be it's probably gonna be at around 4 hours of playtime.
That would actually be good because I think we talked about it in one of our previous episodes.
Playtime, good. Standby time, probably double that.
Right.
You know.
I think we talked about that in one of our previous episodes where, I mean, obviously I'm not expecting like 24 hours running on battery. That's obviously impossible.
Right.
But if you were to give us a good 3 to 4 hours, I think that's more than enough. As they showed a guy on the airplane waiting at the substation, those are the moments that you want to play them while you're waiting. You're only going to do that for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time. Switch to something else, do whatever, walking, do whatever, back to the game. So that gives you plenty of time to play in between those gaps. Well, you're not doing anything, and enough to where, okay, now I got to get home or to some outlet to start charging it.
Yeah,
that's good. I mean, but if it ends up being something like 1 hour, 2 hour tops, it's like, man, that's
gonna be weak sauce. It's gonna be kind of like the Sega Game Gear back in the 90s, where you had like
have like 8
you
batteries.
needed like 8 or so batteries, and it would only give you an hour and a half of playtime. So that was just absolutely terrible. It was nonsense. Okay, another prediction. Bundles. Do you think they're going to announce bundles, different types of bundles for this console? Or is it just going to be one set thing?
You know what? I'm going to say no bundles. I don't know. I don't see why they would have the need to offer bundles right off the top. Right off the launch date. As time goes on, yes, like what I was saying, like some kind of collector's edition, limited edition, bundled together with some kind of game, yes, but not on launch, not right off the bat.
I think there will not be a bundle. If there is, it's just going to be like this, not a bundle by Nintendo. It's going to be like a, I don't know, like Best Buy or the Toys R Us bundle,
a game
where they're going to bundle
extra
in Breath of the Wild with Nintendo, with the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, and they're probably going to put that at $300. You know, or the console alone, they're probably going to be at $250. And I think as far as accessories go, there will be plenty of accessories out there. There's also already been like a list of accessories been announced for it, obviously, like controller parts and whatnot.
Are we talking about like the tennis rackets from like Wii?
But I think that as far as accessories go, or what's going to come included in the console, I think we will see an HDMI cable, obviously, the power cord, the one controller for it, and also the screen, the tablet thing that's going to be on it, as well as the console itself. I think that's what we're going to see in the packaging. Obviously, all the extras as well, like the USB cables for charging, and also
just all the general stuff that comes with the unit.
The general things like an HDMI cable, perhaps as well. But other than that, it's going to be very bare bones. No game. They might include a code, like a DLC code to download a demo from the store. I think that's what they're going to include. However, here's one thing, though. one thing that I am predicting, and I think the digital store, the Nintendo eShop, is going to receive a complete overhaul. I think they're going to keep a version of it for the existing console, which is the Wii U. They're just kind of going to phase it out, I think. But I think they're going to create a brand new one, and it's just going to be completely overhauled, and I think it's going to be a lot more user friendly, because what's out there right now seems ancient and archaic compared to Xbox, compared to PlayStation Store. It's just not very good. I mean, I go on there.
What does it look like? To be honest, I've never done any digital purchases from Nintendo.
It looks like an old Wii menu. It's just like
blocky. Rounded.
It's all blocky. It's like a tap here, and then it takes you, and it's just all a big list of games that seemingly are just put there randomly. There seems to be no excitement to it, no real feasible, easy way to get to what you want to get to. Like, for example, one day I was trying to download DLC for Mario Kart 8, and I went to the store, and I'm looking through all the stuff that they have. It's a bunch of old games, right, like for the virtual console. But when I type in Mario Kart, I just typed in Mario Kart, and it brought me to a page with just Mario Kart, and it wanted me to purchase Mario Kart, which I didn't want to. I already had the game. I didn't want to purchase a digital version of it. But what I had to do is actually click on that, and then scroll all the way down
to the DLC that was available for that particular title.
It had it as a suggestion, like, well, if you like this game, you might enjoy this, and it was the DLC for the game itself. And I was just baffled why it was so difficult for them to sell that to me. I know it's on one of the menus within the game itself, but to just go to the store, you have to specifically type what you want, and it was just pretty ridiculous when you come from an ecosystem such as Xbox Live, such as the PlayStation Store, where it's just so simple to find what you want. You know, it's in the Nintendo eShop, it almost seems like they're hiding it from you. You know.
What I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I've never purchased anything from Nintendo's shop, so. What do they really sell? I know that they used to have a lot of their old games. The WiiWare, I think is what they call it.
Right. Most of it is actually just old, the older Nintendo classics from Wii, from...
Right, because I don't remember...
Right.
I don't recall many games having any kind of DLCs that come with it.
Like NES, SNES. Like
so
those
it's just
old,
actual titles.
Yeah, and some other games do have DLC, such as Mario Kart 8, for example. But most of the games, it's been very, I don't know, it's been very, very not robust, I guess you could say, in terms of extra features and extras that are given to them. So I think that the Nintendo eStore, the eShop, is going to receive a complete overhaul. They better. If they don't do that, that's going to lead to the failure of the Switch.
Well, from the sound of it definitely sounds like it.
Count on that. Yeah, because if they want to move forward in this digital platform, they're going to have to adapt to the times, you know? They can't just rely on Mario and Zelda to be saving them all the time. I think Sonic is going to be on there too, for example. But we'll get to that. Digital store, GameCube. Do you think there's rumors out there saying that the Nintendo GameCube will be playable as part of this console in a backwards compatibility form, and also digital form, like where you'll be able to download GameCube games from their store? What do you think?
Digital, I could understand, because obviously, just like their old NES titles, you can download them, purchase them, whatever. But I don't know about like physical CDs from this point in time to when GameCube games were around. I don't think there's that many people that actually have GameCube games to play. We're talking about like old fans, collectors of sorts that only them have actual.
Yeah,
GameCube.
And that's a very small part of the population of gamers, collectors.
To put hardware and that ability into this console for just a very select group of people, that seems like it's not smart. It's not wise.
Right. Yeah, and I completely agree. I don't think it's smart whatsoever to do that, to do it that way. I think it's going to be more in a digital form, and I think they will announce it. And I think that they might even put out some Wii games as well. And we already have Wii games available in the Nintendo's eShop. But I think that what they're going to do is they're going to puff up their launch lineup by bringing back almost every single first-party Nintendo game ever. Like from NES, SNES, N64. That's a big one. N64. And also GameCube, Wii, and Wii U, not yet. I don't think Wii U games are going to be backwards compatible because I think Nintendo's kind of prepping to do a lot of re-releases. Like we saw on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and we had a lot of HD remasters.
Right.
So we're going to see something similar to that on the Switch, I think. All right, so that's the backwards compatibility part or prediction for it. Now, other prediction. I think that some of the digital content will roll over. For example, if you already purchased digital content on the Wii U, such as, for example, this holiday season, I purchased Super Mario Galaxy 2. I think that if I buy a Switch and I log in using my ID, my Nintendo eShop ID, that's going to be waiting for me right there.
So you could just re-download it on your next console.
Right. Do you think Nintendo will do that?
It would be smart. I mean, it would be a good thing to do so that people don't spend that extra cash to get their already purchased game on the next console. But we're talking about Nintendo. Don't they usually do a lot of these measures to make sure that they can kind of get every penny out of every kind of purchase possible?
Sometimes they do. That's true.
I would imagine that no. They're going to limit whatever purchases you made. And mainly because, like I said, there's no real much DLC of any sorts to any of their games.
Right.
It's just the actual game. So if you want it, you keep it. You have it on your old console. It stays there. Yes. Now you have your new console and you make new purchases there.
Okay.
So I don't see a game transferring from the Wii U to the Switch, and now you got to re-download the DLC that you bought.
Yes.
Maps, characters, skins, anything like that. So there's really no point in that being needed.
Yes.
So I'd say no. Whatever you purchase is going to stay at your previous console. You're going to have to repurchase if you want it on your new one. Okay.
Yeah. So most of these predictions have been based on what we've seen in the past. Now, speaking of the past, this is more like a fun part of our predictions here that we're going to have. What Nintendo franchise will see its return that we haven't seen for a while? What do you think will see its return?
That we haven't seen in a while. There was
There's obviously Zelda and Mario. We know that.
But we know that those
There's
are
Mario
coming.
Kart. We know that. But something Nintendo hasn't shown us in a long time.
What's something good? Something good that happened before.
While you're thinking about that, I'm going to give you my thoughts on what's going to come up.
All right.
I think we're going to see a new Metroid game.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be... I think Nintendo is missing that first-person shooter type of game, that juggernaut game, that futuristic game.
Oh, so you think they're going to go back to that?
I think that they're going to... I think they're going to release at some point some sort of iOS game, kind of based on the old SNES and NES mechanics of the game and the look of the game. However, I think that moving forward, they're going to go with a first-person shooter a la Nintendo GameCube version of Metroid, which is still considered a great series of games.
Oh, they were fun. I enjoyed the heck out of those games. Prime, what you're seeing right here, that's the first-person shooter. Remember, they did another one. I forgot what it was called. Metroid M?
Well, there was a other M. Look, there's the names of them. There was a trilogy.
But that's the first person. After that, Other M, I think it was called Other
Right.
M. That one went back to the 3D, not the 3D, the third person aspect where you were kind of looking over the shoulder, or was it above?
What I think I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all these games you can switch back and forth.
No. Well, I don't know.
Or was it just Other M?
No, I think it was just Other M.
Okay.
This one was just all strictly. I mean, there was moments like when you rolled up into the power ball,
Right.
that the camera would zoom out so you can see that, but
Yeah.
it wasn't something that you decided you wanted. That the camera.
Oh,
was
I
just
see.
automatic.
Yeah, because I
But-
do strictly remember seeing that power ball
Yeah.
in
So-
third person view.
Other M, I think, was when they went back to sort of the platform kind of look, where they
Yes.
zoomed the camera out and you saw your character, as opposed to first person.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that they're going to go back to FPS style?
I do believe so.
Yeah.
I think that's what they'll do.
Either or.
I think they want something that's going to resonate somewhat like Master Chief did. What Master
True,
Chief did
true.
for Xbox, except Samus is already very well known,
Mm-hmm.
and if they kind of copy the style and mechanics of the Master Chief games, I just drew a blank right now. What are they called? The
Real-time RTS.
No, not the RTS. The Master Chief series.
Oh.
What's it called? I just totally drew a blank on it.
First
Halo.
person?
Halo
Oh,
series.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, the title of the series. Halo. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I think they're going to kind of go off of that, bite a little bit off of the mechanics of it. But given that Samus has been along...
Well, they have a gold mine. I mean,
longer.
Samus,
I think that's what's gonna-
It's a very popular theme.
Yeah.
They have to build off of that.
And
they'd
I
be
think...
dumb enough. I mean, they'd be dumb to not use
And
that.
I think at some point during the lifespan, now this is way ahead of not. I'm talking about not launch window. I think they're gonna remake Ocarina of Time at some point. I think they have to. I think they're gonna have to start doing remakes of some of the existing games.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe even make Super Mario Brothers, but remade. Not like new Super Mario Brothers. We already saw that was remade, but more like an anime style. But we'll see. We'll see. That I'm getting a little bit too far ahead of myself. Now, what non-Nintendo franchise do you think will come over or make a return?
Non-Nintendo. We definitely will see some Sonic in there.
Sonic's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
I think Capcom's gonna bring us some Mega Man action. I think Mega Man's gonna make a return on the Nintendo Switch.
I would love that, but wasn't there something going on with the whole Mega Man thing?
There was. The creator of Mega Man, I forgot his name, but he wanted to make Mega Man.
Right.
Capcom said no, so he went off and made his own game, Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9 ended up being a terrible game critically, and so now we have rumblings that Capcom is in talks to make a new Mega Man game, and I think Mega Man would be best on a Nintendo console for the purely for the nostalgia factor. So I think we're gonna get a Mega Man game on there. Also, I'd like
That'd
to
be
see
pretty
a
sweet.
Contra come back.
Oh,
That's
that would-
something we haven't seen.
That would be awesome.
Ninja Gaiden. That's another game we haven't seen since Xbox
I think it was on
Xbox
360.
One, and I think on 360 and PS3 they released only one of the games early in the lifespan, but we haven't seen any Ninja Gaiden action since.
That's true.
So I think they're probably gonna bring back some of the old, some of the new, and I personally want to see Yonoid make a return.
Avoid the Noid.
Yeah.
What about fighting games? Does Wii or Wii U
Turtles in Time?
Well, that's not like a fighting game, is it?
You know.
Oh, are you talking about the fighter game from Super Nintendo?
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be fun.
That would be kind
Or
of
that
cool.
they all, I think the same people also made a Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fighting game. That would be kind of cool to see.
Bandai.
Since it's coming out also in movie theaters soon.
True. You never know. I mean, with its updated graphics, I mean, it could definitely handle something a lot more kid-friendly, but still give us some more of that action for
Right.
some of the more serious gamers. That would be pretty cool to actually see. But I think we might see a couple of fighting games, other than like Smash
Yeah.
Brothers, because that's very cartoony. That's very, fantasy-oriented.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Street Fighter is not real, but they look more realistic as opposed to that cartoony aspect that they give the other games.
Yeah, so those are predictions about the Nintendo Switch reveal stream. The Nintendo Switch reveal stream is going to be happening live this Thursday, January the 12th at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Mm-hmm. And we also mentioned we're going to give you a little bonus. This week was CES 2017, the Consumer Electronic Expo, or Consumer Electronics Show.
CES.
So you had something that you want to share.
I was wowed. Like I mean, it's kind of already been happening. It's not nothing brand new, but it's an improvement. LG came up with, I think it's their W series is what they're labeling it as, which is basically the wallpaper series. And if you look at OLED, WOLED from LG, you can see a lot of videos on it. This thing, I think they're stating it's going to be a 65 to 75, or those two, 65 and 75.
Yeah.
Size, right? This thing looks beautiful. I mean, you're talking about 4K resolution, so it looks awesome. It's OLED technology,
right?
But everything that's in the actual panel has been removed and placed in kind of like a sound bar that goes along with the unit. The actual TV itself, I think they said is like 1/10 of an inch thick. With its bezel, it comes out to a little bit thicker, like a quarter of an inch or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But this thing is like wafer thin almost, and you can see them kind of bending. You don't want to bend it, you're gonna snap it. Right. But you can see the give on it because it's so thin. To mount it, it looks like they just like stick kind of like double-sided
some 3M tape on it or something.
Just put it on there and and they just kind of like stick it onto the wall.
I think I heard the guy say something about it, that it was all magnetically mounted. You have to put some like magnetic type of brackets on the wall.
I think it basically
it mounts magnetically to it.
I think it basically comes with like kind of like anchors that you put into the wall, which is essentially like a metal plate.
Right.
You screw that in, and then you hook the TV onto that, kind of like a picture. Think of like a picture, you're just hooking that on. Well, anyways, so right now, I mean, it's ridiculous. They're like $8,000 to $10,000. Yeah, that's not going to happen right now for the general public. But just like previous HD and Ultra HD TVs, they started off at that price range. And within a couple of years, they started getting lower and lower and lower. So we're talking 2 to 3 years from now, it'll be, a feasible price range. But that thing just looks so beautiful. And the way that, I don't know, just to me, I would say like, you know what, I want to watch my TV here. Boom, I put it there.
Yeah.
Tomorrow it's like, you know what, I want it over here. Boom, I can put it there because it's just so light, so easy to mount and unmount that you could just reposition.
You're just going to be putting it up on your walls with thumbtacks probably. Just like,
that would be the TV that I would put like right above my bed and just fall asleep watching. Just be like,
you just put it on your since it's magnetically placed on things, you just put it on your fridge. Buy a little one, put it on your fridge.
Instead of having like a magnet board, you
put it on your microwave. Put it behind your stove.
That would be kind of
as little splash.
That would be
backsplash.
That would be kind of cool. And it's lightweight, so I mean, if it falls, I mean, it would suck because I'm sure it would damage the TV. But you don't have to worry about like, all these other panels where they still weigh 40, 50 pounds, which is still a risk to especially smaller kids and stuff.
Yeah.
But this, I mean, I don't remember the exact weight that they said, but I mean, it's thin. It's like super thin, and
it looks like a poster. It looks like a poster.
It's like cardboard, basically, that you're putting onto the wall. But that thing looked amazing.
Yeah.
Above everything else, I didn't stick around too much for the CES, but I saw that and I was just like, what? What?
Well, something I saw at CES that I was actually specifically waiting for was the new KB Lake processors by Intel, specifically the 7700K. And the reason why is because the 6700K right now is the top of the line chipset for a lot of the gaming computers and computers for video editing and graphics. However, this year we were expecting, the KB Lake, like the next big thing, the new thing, to be so much better and so much quieter and so much smaller, and it was a big meh. It was terrible. They've been releasing some of the chipsets specs and performance results are showing that it performs almost identical to what we've already had out for about a year or two.
Generation.
Yeah, so right now the only thing they're saying that it's mostly good for it, and also they released new motherboards specifically to take advantage of the new Kaby Lake processors, and so far performance wise they're performing almost identical, and that's a big disappointment. They do take up less power. They do generate less heat, and that allows them to easily be overclocked. However, it's nothing too significant compared to what's already been out for a while now. So that's kind of a big disappointment.
What's the price difference, though?
The price difference, I think, is about $50. But you have to take into account, once this is out in the wild, the other one's probably going to drop in price.
True.
So that's one of the things to look out for.
I can see.
And also, I think it's, from what they're saying, it was meant to be a minimal upgrade, whereas every 2 or 3 years, that's when they do the major upgrade, the big jump. And this was one of those like intermediate jumps.
I could see someone that's barely
this
getting
is supposed
to
to be the build of it where it's just stable.
Right.
But what they weren't counting on is the one that was already out. A lot of people already have it to the point where it's very stable and it runs very well. It pretty much it overachieved what they were expecting.
It meets or exceeds what the current one is.
Right, and it just pretty much is the current one is meeting the same standards that the other one already set. Except for the overclocking, it's much easier on the new one.
Right.
But oh well, c'est la vie. I should have just gone for it when I had the chance, but I was thinking Kaby Lake was going to be like this next big thing, next big jump.
Like you
turned
said,
out it wasn't.
But like you said, because of that release, the previous generation is now going to be cheaper, so it kind of goes in your favor that you can get it cheaper for the same. You know, you don't have to worry about because technology always in 1 month it advances so much. You don't have to worry about that much.
The people that have it, that have had the initial release of this Kaby Lake chipset, have already been able to overclock it to, I think it was 5.1 or 5.2 gigahertz.
Damn.
And that's generating about 95 degrees Celsius, and that's
hot.
Yeah, that's super hot. But they're saying it runs stable at that temperature, and obviously it's gonna burn out if you continue running it for a long period of time. But they're saying that this is already a big breakthrough, considering that they've only had a couple of weeks with it. So once they have the chance to kind of fiddle with it and play around with it more, they'll be able to figure out the specific formula at which it works.
Generate too much heat, but works better.
So they're saying that the best setup that they can get for it right now for overclocking, they have it working at 4.8 gigahertz. 4.8 gigahertz at about 70 degrees Celsius, which is not very hot. It's like it's the standard. Most of the chipsets come at that temperature stock.
Is this a quad, a 6, or an 8?
It's a quad core running at 4.8 gigs.
Puts my 3.2 out of.
Well, that's technology. 1 year makes a huge difference. Yeah. Well, with all that said, I'd like to thank you all very much for joining us today here on Daddy's Game Time. Remember, you can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and also on Instagram, all at keyword Daddy's Game Time. I'm Leo and
Rick.
And with that said, remember, enjoy your games, love your families, and tune in for that Nintendo live stream. Until next time, see you later.
Peace out. Bye.